Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to EGF Season 4. It's week 15, only 2 weeks left to go of regular season. It's myself, it's Matt Hayho, we're here. It's not the first game of the evening. We have unfortunately missed a game, haven't we, Matt?
We have. So unfortunately, yeah, I mean, the way to say it, I guess it's William and Mary realised a bit too late that their whole team is on spring break. So yeah, unfortunately, they've had to forfeit that one. So DePaul pick up 3 points, which is pretty valuable actually to DePaul. Might even close the gap on, I think it is Marquette, isn't it? That are sort of struggling down there, but Marquette aren't playing this week as well. So they do, or is it Georgetown that are struggling down the bottom? I can never remember. But yeah, anyway, 3 points to DePaul. They'll pick up that forfeit. But yeah, plenty of action still to come. Georgetown versus St. John's and George Washington versus UConn.
Here we go. The first game of the evening is underway. I apologise again for the delays on the stream starting. Also, the American clocks have gone forwards, backwards, one or the other. So that's also interesting. Set us off a little bit today, us UK boys. We'll be catching you up soon enough though. But either way, Georgetown, St. John's. St. John's need to pick up a win today. They really do. Need to get back on that win streak. They've had a bit of a down in form recently. Let's see if they can bounce back today against one of the teams on paper they should beat.
Yeah, it was a difficult one, wasn't it? Because they went on and won the Vincentian Cup. We've said this a few times, and they've almost had a bit of a slump in form since then. So, yeah, it'd be nice to see them back in the win column. They've had a few tough fixtures, though, in previous weeks. So, with the league being so small, every game is quite impactful as well as your standings. So you don't want to go on a streak where you're losing too many games, and you do want to put together those win streaks and climb your way up. Because, like you said, only 2 weeks left, so we're getting to the business end of the season and really looking for those playoff seedings now.
Yeah, and with the playoff dates almost confirmed, I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's going to be a penalty. That is a stonewall penalty. You cannot be doing that. You can't be faffing around with that in the box. Gets nutmegged and gets taken down. It's well played from Georgetown. Can they finish it? Oh, no! It's a big save from Daniel. Blue Champs making the penalty save after, well, it was a great bit of skill, you've got to say, from Georgetown.
Yeah, knocked it through the player there, and yeah, like you said, you can't make a tackle like that. And Courtois being called into plenty of early saves here, and definitely keeping them in it at the moment. It's been a tough one so far, but yeah, good save from the penalty. I always think that penalties are a bit of a lottery, aren't they? You've kind of got a left, right, or middle to guess. So it's just kind of a bit of a guessing game, and Real Madrid coming out on top with that one.
Yeah, they did. Unfortunately, could not bury the. Well, they saved the penalty. It's really well played from St. John's to, when you concede a penalty, it's always going to be a little bit disappointing. You're always going to be a little bit gutted, but to keep resilient and to stay positive throughout that, to make the penalty save is always good to see, and something we expect from Blue Champs. I think we speak about it quite a lot. One of the more experienced players in the league, been around for a while, but he could potentially be getting 1-0 down here. No, another great save by Courtois once again to deny Coach Jeter. He is all over Blue Champs here. You've got to feel like a goal could be coming. It could come here. It's Kingsley Coman. He's buried it. He's put it in the back of the net. He's one of the players that teams are going for this team quite a lot. Players are going for this team quite a lot. It is a big team, Bayern Munich, at the moment. A lot of players are starting to use Kingsley Coman, and it is paying off here.
Yeah, we've seen a few times in a few matchups each week that Bayern Munich do they're almost like a surprise pick. We see a lot of Real Madrid. We do see quite a few PSG. And then, yeah, Bayern Munich slip in there as well every now and then, which is good to see. And, yeah, getting the rewards for that really good start. Obviously, it could have been 2-0 had they scored the penalty as well.
Could have well been 2-0, but they're definitely going to be happy with the 1-goal lead. 20 minutes into the game. Great start for Georgetown. St. John's, though, we're seeing this trend continuing. If anybody bought stock in St. John's, well, not that they have stock, it's more like imaginary stock. You would be quite sad at this point. After the back of the Vincentian Cup win, it looked like they were going to do really well. And unfortunately, they just have not played up to that so far in the second half of the season. There is still time, there is still a few weeks left, and you've always got playoffs to get into where you can just create some form out of nowhere. We see it happen quite a lot.
Yeah, I think playoffs are always quite an interesting format as well. You might find yourself with the league being so small with sort of 7 teams. You're still going to be playing against. You might end up playing the likes of Georgetown in the qualifiers depending on or how you get on for the playoffs. But we might see a chance here to level the scoring. Vinicius Jr. doesn't miss those, and we are all square at 1 goal apiece now. But yeah, like I was saying, the seedings, you could end up playing someone in one of these final game weeks, and then end up playing them again pretty soon in the playoffs. So, form is almost irrelevant going into the playoffs. You want to finish with the highest seeding possible, obviously, because then on paper you supposedly get the easiest games possible if you finish higher up the league. But form means absolutely nothing when we get into the playoffs.
It really doesn't. It just comes down to who can be better on the day. But there is a chance here. Alphonso Davies defending very well, manages to put it behind for a corner kick. Ball whipped in. Eder Militao on the end of it. Benzema somehow keeps it in, but no one on the end of that one in a Los Blancos shirt. Can we see them come down the other end, though? Because some runners coming forward. Ball played over the top for Coman. Very well defended once again from Blue Champs. So, and that's one thing you've always got to be a little bit worried about in the back of your mind playing against a team like Bayern Munich. It's those counter-attacks from corners, right?
Yeah, of course. They've got a lot of pace, like we said, up front. They're very, very quick, and they've still got that strong defence as well. And they've still got some pace players. There's a chance here for the ball across goal. Hazard, empty net, and just like that, it has turned around. And that's the problem with Real Madrid, though. They have that killer instinct up front. They've got those players with pace, with great finishing, great positioning. Hazard just there, just ready to absolutely stroke it home under no pressure whatsoever. And St. John's, maybe they've started to find their footing now in this game.
Yeah, these are the kind of opportunities we expect Blue Champs to be getting. We expect him to get down those wings, to play the ball into the middle from those kind of positions, and gotten it's the 100% opportunity that the pro players love to get, don't they? They love getting it down the wings and playing it into the middle across goal, giving that open net opportunity. Lovely cut in from Rodrigo, but the finish just is not there. An easy save for Neuer.
Yeah, like you say, we expect the St. John's are very good, and we know that the meta these days is to get down the byline, look for that pass across goal. There's normally somebody there. For some reason, the defenders never seem to be in the position to make a block or an interception there. But yeah, it's one of those that you can't really do too much. You've just got to stop the pass across. But yeah, when you've got the pace that Real Madrid have got up front, it is very difficult to stop those chances.
Very true indeed. As we approach the half-time whistle, Georgetown took the lead. Maybe should have even had two. But St. John's managed to find that comeback early on, and now they're looking dominant. But there could be one last chance. No. Well defended once again from Blue Champs. And it's got to be said, since that first goal went in for Georgetown, they saved the penalty. The first goal went in. It has pretty much just been one-way traffic since then.
Yeah, I think early sort of 15, 20 minutes, Georgetown maybe needed to capitalise and take a few more opportunities that they were presented with. Obviously, the penalty misses. A penalty is just a lottery, especially on FIFA. It's not like you can blast it top corner, bottom corner, top middle, bottom middle. It is literally left, right, centre, because the goalkeeper covers the rest of the goal then, whichever way they dive. It's very unlikely you're going to smash it past the goalkeeper if they dive the right way, so it's a little bit awkward on penalties. I personally would almost prefer to have a corner rather than a penalty, but there you go, that's just me. But yeah, Georgetown, early pressure, they were looking good, but St. John's, it's taken them a little bit of time to get into this game, but now they seem to have settled, and like you say, they were definitely pushing on in the latter stages of that first half.
Very, very true indeed. And we're going to see a chance potentially here now for Blue Champs with Vincinius Jr. Oh, the tackle goes in. If he goes down, I'll be honest, I think that probably gets called for a penalty, but tried to stay on his feet and does well. Kingsley Coman, Rudiger looking to shadow defend once again, does that well. Fairly routine start to the half, what you would expect. Both players just kind of get the feels back into the game, see where the opportunities are going to come from. There might be one here. If Kingsley Coman got those 5-star skill moves, remember, so can pull a trick out of the bag if he wants to. Just going to go route one with Kimmich. Can't quite find the desired angle. A good save from Courtois, though.
Yeah, Courtois has been a big part of the success in this game for St. John's. Obviously saving the penalty, but a couple of other good saves as well. So definitely helping out there. And that's why it always pays to pick a team that's got a decent goalkeeper as well, because you can have the best defence in the world, but if you get a chance, if they get a chance to attack through the defence, get past them, then it is up to the goalkeeper. And Courtois is a keeper for sure that can definitely bail you out in those kind of situations, and he's shown that a few times in this match already.
Definitely. Real Madrid, just that premier highlight team that has pretty much something in every position that is absolutely world class. You know, in the midfield, you've got Valverde. In the defence, you've got numerous players that are absolutely incredible. And in the attack force as well, you've got one of the best goalkeepers, if not probably the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. But are we going to see a potential banger free kick? Kimmich sends it flying, but nowhere near enough power to trouble Courtois in goal.
Yeah, I think just a little bit too far out, that one there. But, you know, it's always worth a go. You never know what's going to happen. But, yeah, free kicks are a difficult one. I find this year, you know, you've got to use kind of like the L1 power shots there. Oh, he sneaks that one in before Courtois can get out there. Serge Gnabry, what a finish at the near post. That almost came out of nowhere, the through ball, and I thought Courtois was probably going to get there first, but Gnabry gets that snapshot off, sneaks it in at the near post. Now we're tied at 2-2. Georgetown not giving up on this one.
Starting to see a lot more of those goals recently, just little finesses at the near post. They seem to be in the goalkeepers quite a lot. I'm not too sure if it's been a thing that's been going on for very long, but we are starting to see it a little bit more as the season goes on. Vincinius Jr. looks to play it across the box, but intercepted by Davies once again. That was a really good opportunity. Just didn't have enough power in the cross to beat the defenders. Did well to get back on time. Tuchemeni, look at the float one, and that is absolutely absurd. That is cheeky, but that will see St. John's take the lead once again at 3-2. What a goal.
Yeah, that was almost out of nothing as well. It was a beautiful little finish there, and Tuchemeni as well. Someone you don't really kind of associate with scoring kind of worldly goals, really. But, you know, St. John's are going to take it. They get back in front. Benzema might be able to reach that, but it's well defended. You might see a counter-attack here, but yeah, St. John's kind of creating a beautiful opportunity there and smash him straight back with a goal just a couple of minutes after the game being levelled up again. So Georgetown caught napping a little bit there, but yeah, beautiful finish.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful, lovely goal. I'm not too sure if it was a finesse or what it was, but it was great. Sané just lurking off the back of the defender, had to get it clear there. I think there was Rudiger. Very nice. Benzema, though, with a nice little 1-2, sends him straight for on goal, and I don't think anybody's going to catch him here. Does he have the finish on the end of it? Of course it does. It's Karim Benzema. It's 4-2 to St. John's in the late stages of this first leg, and with that 2-goal advantage, it's now looking like Georgetown need to find a goal before this first leg ends.
Yeah, quite a crucial goal there to now give them a bit of breathing space. And yeah, like you say, you've got to see how this plays out. Still 14 minutes to go. You know, it's been a pretty end-to-end game here, and it's definitely opening up. And I think that suits St. John's a little bit more here. They've got the pace up front for sure. Can he find anyone? No, he can't. I think that was De Ligt in there once again, who had an absolutely insane performance in the Champions League last week. He's carrying that on here on FIFA as well. And lovely little reverse pass to Coman, like you said earlier. 5-star skills, so looking to create some chances. Plenty of men in red forward here. The cross goes in. A bit of an unorthodox attempt, as you don't tend to see too many crosses firing in these days in FIFA.
Especially not with Bayern Munich. You know, they don't have the tallest of lineups. I think probably their tallest players are their defenders. Their attack is rather short, rather pacey. But when you've got that amount of pace, it doesn't really matter what you're going to do when the ball's being played into the box. You can just run straight through the defence, and that's exactly what Leroy Sané has done. That's exactly what Georgetown have done. And we said they needed to get a goal back before the full-time whistle, and they have done just that. Now the question is, can they make that comeback happen?
Yeah, I mean, bringing it back to within one now is fantastic. They need to sit on this, or, you know, it would be great for them to try and pull it level. But what a game we've had here. I know, obviously, we had the forfeit in the first game, so we had a bit of time without the first game. But, you know, what a game to come into. At least these guys have put on a fantastic showing. 7-goal thriller already. Difficult to predict a winner here with only a few minutes left on the clock.
Well, this is going to be one for the highlights if we do see an equaliser before the end of the full-time whistle. And you've got to say, you can feel it coming. You can feel it in the air. Leroy Sané looks to play it into the box, just rushes the pass a little bit. Tuchemeni standing right in that passing lane. Now Benzema, this would kill the hearts of Georgetown if this were to go in. Benzema cuts inside, but fairly routine defending from De Ligt does well. There's still time for one more chance, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's always that kind of last-minute chance, isn't there, in injury time? Unfortunately, it might go the way of Real Madrid, and they are gonna take it. Just rolls it into the bottom corner, re-establishing that 2-goal lead. bit of a sucker punch there for Georgetown, but I mean, do St John's deserve a 2-goal lead? I don't know. I mean, it was a pretty tight game. I think the 1-goal lead probably been the fairest one, but you know, they've had chances, they've taken them. 5 goals to 3. It's a pretty solid scoreline as well, but I don't want to say this one's over by any stretch.
No, it's definitely not over quite yet, but it is. Well, it's been a great game, to be honest. What more can you say about it than that? The opening goal from Georgetown kind of shocked us a little bit, and then obviously the reply to go 2-1 up from St John's. Just a cracking way to start the proceedings of week 15, you have to say. But there is time for a second leg. There's time for a series after that as well. We've got plenty of games still to come here tonight at EGF, but we are going to have to throw it to a very quick break while we do get prepared for the second leg here between Georgetown and St John's. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a banger. Don't go anywhere.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. EGF Week 15 is Season 4. We're coming down to the final knock-ins of the regular season, and this is a great matchup that we are seeing so far here with St John's and Georgetown. We've got Legal Eagle swapping in for Georgetown in place of Coach Jeter, who did a fantastic job. But now, Blue Champs, does he have what it takes to bring the win home for St John's? He's found an early goal, which might just do it. That increases their lead to 3 now on aggregate. And that is a cracking start to the game. Real Madrid versus Real Madrid. St John's going to be happy with that one.
Yeah, a perfect start to the game, getting an early goal. You know, it's always something you want, whether it's just to settle the nerves or, you know, give yourself that extra bit of breathing space that they've given themselves there. Yeah, great cross. I was saying, actually, in the first leg, you know, you don't see too many players doing crosses these days on FIFA, as it's not really considered to be kind of part of the meta, I suppose. But, you know, making it work. And, yeah, lovely header at the back post, and it really does secure St John's lead. And, oh, there was a chance. Really good chance there, just maybe just lacking a bit of power in that. Look to try and roll it in with the low amount of power. Just roll it into the corner, but unfortunately, really just roll it into the hands of the goalkeeper there.
Yeah, very close. Unlucky. But, you know, we said this in the previous game. The chances started coming for Georgetown, and we felt like there could be a goal coming, and they got one. Can the same happen in this game? I know they've gone a goal down, so it's not the way they would have wanted it or expected it to start, but the chances will come eventually, I am sure. We have seen that Blue Champs, you know, he's not the perfect player. He does make mistakes. We might see one here. Valverde gets a nice turn of pace, takes a little bit of a niggle on the way through, but will take the shot on. Takes a deflection, goes behind for a corner, but good chances for Georgetown there. Put it in the right areas and they're getting the opportunities. Just need to look for that end product, that final product, to get the goal.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate that the pass out wide was almost just sent. It was a little bit too wide, wasn't he? Sort of running in towards goal, but you know, if it was a slightly better angle, it could have been a great opportunity. But you know, Legal still pressing forward though, looking to create more and more chances. Another cross comes in, and the goalkeeper does come out and snatches that one away. Yeah, it's again end-to-end stuff here. There's only 2 goals. No, there's 3 goals in it now. Sorry, isn't there? 'Cause there was a late goal for St John's in the first leg. So they're looking relatively comfortable now at 6-3 on aggregate. So they just, you know, I suppose Georgetown is going to have to go for it now and just see what they can do from here.
Yeah, I feel they don't need to go completely all forward right now. I feel like they're getting chances how they're playing at the moment. Doesn't look like they're playing constant pressure or anything like that. Let's see if I can get a chance here. Valverde gives it to Benzema, finds a little bit of space, but it's a great challenge coming in from, I'm pretty sure that was Rudiger there, making the challenge. And they do need to be careful on the defence, though, because if St John's get another one, it really is becoming out of reach. If they can just keep it this 3-goal lead and try and get a goal before the half-time whistle, I'm a believer.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing here, really, is we've said it before in plenty of FIFA matches, and I'm sure it's been said in many a football game. You know, the next goal is kind of crucial here, isn't it? Because if St John's get it, it's almost, you know, 4 goals. It's looking pretty unlikely. But if the gap can be closed to just 2, then, you know, never say never.
Rudiger to Modric, out to Kroos in the wide area. Might look to put one in, cuts back right into the path of Mendy with the pass. Benzema looking to go around the defenders. And yeah, so far in this game, it does kind of feel like St John's are not sitting back since they scored the goal, but they definitely haven't really had too many chances since they scored the goal. They haven't really come forward much. So maybe they've just realised, you know, we've got the lead here. Maybe we go to a more defensive formation. Maybe we get a few more players back and try and defend the lead. I know that's what a lot of the top players do, try and do. If they've got a 3-goal lead, they'll kind of switch to a 5 at the back formation with everybody coming back, even your striker. It's definitely a tactic that I don't like to see, but I definitely think it shows the intent for teams. They want to go out and win no matter what.
Yeah, I think it's quite rare on... I think, you know, in real life, you'll see teams maybe park the bus, which is absolutely fair enough. You know, they're looking to see out a game. But I think on FIFA, it's so difficult to do that anyway. Even if you put sort of 5 at the back and drop a lot of players back into defence and drop that depth really low, it's not actually that easy to, you know, to shut out your opponent. It's very rare we see clean sheets on FIFA because, you know, it's not that easy to defend that well for 90 minutes because obviously in real life it might take a lot longer for some build up for, you know, for a team to pass the ball from one end of the pitch to the other. It's probably a lot less intense than it is on FIFA. You know, but it's one of those where you kind of think the best form of defence is just to attack.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the best way to play on FIFA, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree with you. Last, you know, 30 minutes or 20 minutes, you've got a 2-goal advantage. Maybe then you could kind of set to a drop-back formation, be a little bit more tactical with it, but definitely not for the whole game because we all know what FIFA can be like. And yeah, it's a dangerous game you play when you go 5 at the back, drop 1 depth. But either way, Benzema, Militao putting on a masterclass here at the left-back role. Doing really well for his team, putting in lots of big tackles.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Real Madrid's defence as well, actually, is, you know, they're very versatile. Any of them could play in any position in that back line, whether it's, you know, Alaba, Militao, Mendy. I think the right back position's usually a little bit weaker, but quite often people will sub people in and out, won't they? They'll tend to run Militao. I don't know who else they would normally have a centre back now. They'd normally, a lot of people move Mendy to right back and Alaba at left back.
Yeah.
What's they play at centre back? My mind has gone completely blank.
Militao, Rudiger.
That's it, Rudiger as well, yeah. And I mean, even Rudiger or or Militao, either of those guys could play left back, right back, centre back. So it's a really good interchanging defence for Real Madrid, and yeah, they're very difficult to break down at the best of times. You can see there though, St. John's have only had one shot. They've taken it, they've scored, but they've only had one shot. So it's not like they're dominating this game here. They're very much under pressure. And it'll be interesting to see if they can pick that up in the second half because, like you said, they've got a 3-goal lead. However, if you've only had one chance, the other side's had 6. It's a difficult one because on paper, I've got to say Georgetown probably deserve to be in the lead in terms of the amount of shots they've taken.
100%. I would definitely agree with that, Matt. They've looked great. Like I said, St. John's haven't really had many opportunities since they scored their goal. Well, they haven't. They haven't had a single opportunity since they scored their goal. It does feel like they're starting to maybe sit back a bit, and you can't blame them. All the best teams have their moments where they're up a few goals and they think, right, we can just sit on this now. We don't really need to push too much. And Georgetown getting a lot of chances, but you've got to say St. John's defending has been very good. They've been forcing them to take awkward shots, off balance shots. Ones where you really wouldn't expect them to be shooting, but they're the kind of chances that, because they're so many goals, they're 3 goals down, they just want to take any chance they get. Valverde, great little bit of burst of pace, but takes on the shot. Could have cut it back to Vincinius Jr. Chose not to. They've won themselves a corner though. Oh dear, potential counter-attacking opportunity, Matt.
Yeah, really awkward there. That pass going out wide to Valverde. Why on earth take the shot from that angle? I do not know. It was difficult. There's probably an option to roll it across goal, but we say this plenty of times. It's easier to commentate and watch and see different things on the pitch. Whereas when you're in that moment, you think, I've got a chance here. I'll try and squeeze it in at the near post. Maybe catch the goalkeeper kind of napping, but not to be on that one. And counter-attack shut down well though, because we do see that from corners it can be quite awkward. The speed at which the players can get forward, and I've mentioned this many a time that. If a team plays fast build-up, for example, the attackers seem to run forwards a lot quicker than the defence can get back. So it's almost like a bit of an OP counter-attacking situation if someone plays fast build-up, because they can just rush everybody forward and end up with nobody back. And there might be another chance here. It might be the second shot of the game, and there's a chance there. Really big chance, and just placed wide for St. John's. That could have been it. That could have been the game right there, but 6-3, still 3 goals in it. Georgetown really need to find something soon.
Yeah, they need to find that opportunity thick and fast. It needs to happen now, or this one might just be out of reach. Tucciameni, pass rushed a little bit straight into the path of Valverde. Alaba can make the tackle onto Benzema, so Georgetown win the ball back once again, but they have moving the ball so fast. It can sometimes be your worst enemy, speed. Could be their best friend here, though. No, cleared away once again. Tucciameni picks it up. Might look for another chance. Another little floater. But once again, Courtois able to get his hands to that one. Realised, he's going to go for that again. And able to adjust his body to the point where he can make that save. So, St. John's, I don't want to say they're hanging on a thread because they got a 3-goal lead. But honestly, on another day, Georgetown could have scored a good 3 goals in this game.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a game where actually Georgetown have probably looked the better team here during the match, but they just can't seem to find the kind of golden opportunities, really. They're taking shots from awkward angles, being forced out wide, and I think that is a credit to St. John's defence here. They've defended really, really well. They might get another chance later on in the game, but Legal Eagles still pressing, still playing really, really well. I think it's just been, unfortunately, one of those games where the chances just aren't falling in the right positions. But I do think we have to give credit to St. John's. Defended well. We might see a chance here, though. Legal with Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. bursting forward. Looking for Valverde to get there. And Mendy's forward as well. Look at this. You've got plenty of men in white forward. Can he find the pass? Yes, he can. It's a block. Good touch. Drills one in. There's the first one for Georgetown. Very much deserved. Still need to find 2 goals. And there's not an awful lot of time left in this one.
2 goals, 15 minutes of in-game time. Can Legal Eagle do it? It's doable. It really is doable. But you've got to think Blue Champs are going to lock it down, hold the ball a little bit, might even look for another goal. It's Benzema twisting, turning. Is he going to look for the pass at any point? No, he's just going to run it by himself into the corner. Keep running that clock down. Run it to the line, cuts it back, wins his team a corner. And these are precious seconds, precious minutes being taken off the clock for Georgetown. Need to get the ball back. It's a great chance. It's another corner.
Yeah, it's a bit relentless now, this late pressure. But at the same time, you know, St John's legally not really... sorry, not legally. Looking to score... looking to run the clock down, sorry. You know, like you said there, you know, could have gone to the corner, then ran to the byline, won a corner. Just kind of not looking to be clinical and just kind of biding their time, really, aren't they, St John's? You know, they've still got 2 goals, 10 minutes to sort of see out, really. So it's not like they need to go hell for leather and try and find another goal. Obviously, another goal would completely seal the deal, but it's difficult because Georgetown need to find 2 goals in under 10 minutes. They're throwing bodies forward, which could leave them open to the counter-attack. Lovely ball over the top. Benzema to seal the tie. Oh, it just crosses the line. VAR will have another look at that one, but it just creeps over the line, and that should be all she wrote. There might be a final tweak in the tactics, just throwing everybody forward now because there is absolutely no time left. But yeah, that, you know, good finish there, good finish. Didn't need the goal, but you know, the opportunity arose and really, really well taken there.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, I'll be honest, I would be having a quick check at my watch if I was the referee because that was definitely tight. A beautiful goal though, nonetheless. And St John's, I think this is pretty much guaranteed now. The fact they'll be picking up the win. I mean, we've seen crazy things happen in FIFA, but this would definitely be up there with one of the crazier things we would see. Plays it down the wing, Benzema. Vincinius Jr. making the run inside, but once again doesn't really have any support. Looks to the pass to Benzema, but seen out. The constant pressure is coming through, though. Benzema with a chance. Maybe an air of goalkeeper movement I saw there for Courtois with a save, but they've won themselves a corner.
Yeah, good chance of getting there, and yeah, another good save from Courtois. And yeah, it's been a tough tie for Georgetown. They played well in both legs, actually. It's not really been the case of, you know, St John's absolutely deserving the win by a big margin. There's a lovely goal there to pull it back in this tie to 2-2, which is a nice way to finish off. There'll probably still be another chance here. We usually see a 90th minute opportunity, don't we? But, you know, keep fighting to the end, and that's what they've done. It comes that 90th minute chance. Will it be enough to win the second leg? Twisting, turning, might be offside. It's going to be tight. And it is. With 8 seconds on the clock. I think that'll be all she wrote. It'll be 7-5 on aggregate, assuming that is the last action of the game. It is. So a 2-2 tie in the second leg. I'd probably say a bit lucky for St John's, really, to get a draw out of that, because Georgetown played really, really well in that second one. But it is what it is, and it's 7-5 on aggregate. So St John's will be picking up the points for the table.
They will indeed, and I think you've got to say that even the best teams, when they're having a bad day, they still pick up wins. And we've seen St John's have a bit of a the first leg was very good. The second leg wasn't the greatest we've seen from them, but you know, Georgetown, they had a lot of chances, they couldn't take them. Good defending from St John's, and they pick up the points, they pick up the win. They're going to be happy with that one, most definitely. But there is more still to come this evening. We have one more match coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we do. So we've got George Washington University.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to EGFC Season 4, Week 15. We're here with the final game of the evening. Probably the biggest game we have left this season. First versus second. George Washington University versus UConn. We have had a pause. I think one of the players has made a few mistakes with some of the team management, maybe. Not too sure, but we're going to see if there are any changes that come through. But either way, this is a massive, massive match.
It's huge. We were sort of looking at the table and stuff in the break. You know, I think it's like UConn are on 9 wins for the season, George Washington on 11. So if UConn can pick up the win, they move to just within 1 win of top of the table. And that's probably the closest gap we'll have seen pretty much since week 1 or week 2, really. So it's been George Washington kind of all the way this season, all the way. They've had a few slip-ups, though, where they've lost like a one-legged affair, but they haven't, you know, lost over 2 legs in quite some time. I think there's only once that it's happened this season. So they are very much the team to beat. two beautiful teams they've chosen for FIFA as well. It is El Clasico, maybe not quite as big a deal as it used to be with the Messi and Ronaldo days, but hey, I'm sure these two are going to give us a great game and a great send-off to the end of week 15.
Yeah, it is well, it's probably the big send-off now before we get to playoffs. This is probably the match that could potentially decide who gets first seed. I don't know if it's possible, but UConn, if they can pick up this win, it would definitely solidify them as guaranteed second. I'm 99% certain, but we'll have to see, because no one has yet really been able to topple George Washington since the first few weeks. Modric with a chance. Good defending. Manages to put him off balance, get the ball away from him. Goalkeeper can come out and pick it up. Good start to the game. Seeing a few chances for George Washington. UConn now with this Barcelona pick, which we do see Diego pick quite a lot of the time. And we see him do well with it, that's the thing. We don't see many other players pick it and do well with it, but the one player that does usually tend to do fairly well is Diego.
Yeah, I've questioned it pretty much every week, haven't I? I think it was last week I questioned why he was picking Barcelona, and then he went out and put on an absolutely insane display. And I'm not going to question his choice because he's very comfortable with the Barcelona lineup and obviously enjoys using them. And, they've got a lot of players that can pass the ball well. Plenty of players with probably 85, 87 plus passing easily. So, they're a team that are very good at keeping the ball. That possession style as well probably suits Diego quite nicely. It'll be interesting to see, though, can it work against the team that's so difficult to beat at the top of the table?
Yeah, so for those of you that are wondering who are playing for George Washington today, we have Van Wood. He returns this week and he'll be playing both of the games. And he's locking in his place as one of George Washington's starters last fall. But he's currently working and taking semesters off. But he's still enrolled in the school, so he's taken his little bit of time off that he's got to come back and play a few games, which is great to see.
Yeah, always great to see people getting involved, and it's great to see rosters that have great depth as well. It's great to see teams being able to use more than one player over the course of the season, or even over a week. It's nice to see a bit of mixing and matching going on with some of the lineups. But yeah, and it also gives a different kind of aspect to each matchup we play. The first legs can be very, very different to the second legs, depending on who's playing as well.
Yeah, very, very true indeed. But 20 minutes into the game, we've seen a few chances, but we haven't seen any goals as of yet. Still goalless. Who is going to break the deadlock here? Mendy breaking down this left-hand side, manages to cut the ball back, but well defended to make sure the path to goal was blocked from Diego. Van Aanwood really getting a lot of chances here. Whips the ball in towards Benzema, but cleared away. Well defended once again.
Yeah, I think the Barcelona defence is pretty good, actually. They've got the likes of Koundé in there now as well, who's very, very solid on FIFA. You've got Rafinha down that right side as well. So it's a very pacey right-hand side of the field for Barcelona. It's going to be difficult to break down the Real Madrid defence, though, because one thing I do find with Barcelona is they're not the best team physically. They're not particularly tall on average. They're not very strong across the board either in terms of their strength. But, fantastic at passing the ball. And I suppose they've got the strength where it matters, and that is in the defensive areas.
There is a chance, though. Lewandowski bursting through, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Finds the back of the net. And that is the first goal of the game, going the way of UConn. A great opportunity from Diego, and absolutely takes it. Those are the goals. Those are the chances. You need to make sure you're taking those. Diego's done very well here. And, well, we said it was going to be a close game, and it is definitely playing up to be just that. UConn go 1-0 up, take the lead. Can George Washington bounce back and get the second goal of the game?
Yeah, it's a long, long way to go here, and it's a great start. Great to see as well from Diego. Still going with that Barcelona pick and still showing us week in, week out why he loves going for them, because it's working for him and he's doing well. He might get another chance, and he does, and he takes it again. And that's going to be a pause coming in, I'm sure, from George Washington University. They're going to need to take a few moments just to gain a little bit of composure, because that's two quick goals there, almost back to back there, and that's a really good position for Diego to be in now. 2-0 up inside the first half. Still a bit of time to go in this one and the whole second half. Obviously, we've got a second leg as well, so I'm sure you said it was Faneka was playing the second leg, wasn't it, for them? He's going to be sitting in the wings. Got to be very pleased being put in a great position by his teammates so far.
Yeah, but now George Washington, Vanwood needs to find a comeback, needs to continue George Washington's win streak, needs to keep that going alive into the playoff season. But UConn looking to play spoiler here. It's a big chance for Diego to come up with the goods for his team to put up a big performance. Quintinius Jr. coming down the right-hand side. Jordi Alba not able to match him for strength. Cuts it back into the middle, but Luka Modric not the most proficient in the air and won't be able to find a header off the back of that. Well defended from Diego once again, knowing that his defenders can win those aerial battles.
Yeah, you just got to keep on going. I don't think the cross was probably not quite the right decision there, but yeah, you can see Vinicius Jr. just bursting past Jordi Alba like he wasn't even there. And we know that Jordi Alba's a quick player, but again, I sort of mentioned the sort of strength, the lack of strength that Barcelona have, and there's another chance here. Valverde kind of playing down the middle here and carried away and confident enough to play it straight back to Ter Stegen, but does give it away. Might be a chance for George Washington. Well defended again. I'll tell you what, Diego, probably heart in the mouth stuff there, giving the ball away in a crucial position, but did really well there to make up for his error.
But there could be an opportunity now for UConn to build something. A very high line being played by George Washington. Halftime whistle might just go and it will. Taken too long to build the chance, but they will not care. UConn are going to be very happy with the position they're in. Currently 2 goals up. They've only had one more chance than George Washington, but they've taken their opportunities. They've taken all their chances, and although they don't have as much possession either, they are definitely making their chances matter. And against the top team in the league, that's what you got to do. You've just got to make every opportunity count.
Well, this also bodes well for not just the league standings to take it tight going into the final week, but if they can beat George Washington going into the playoffs, you've got to say then it kind of becomes very much a 2-horse race. We've sort of spoken a lot about how good George Washington have been throughout the season, and we've also said on the flip side how form going into it doesn't really matter too much. But you've got to say, if UConn can come out and beat them tonight, it gives them a really good mental edge over George Washington going into the playoffs. And depending on how the bracket goes, could they end up finding each other in the final?
I mean, you never know, do you? You really never know. One's on one side of the bracket, the other's on the other side. You never know. It could match up to be absolutely perfect. But if they did meet in, the semi-final, that could also be an absolute thriller, and that could be a crazy way to run it to the end of the tournament. But we'll have to see how that all plays out, because we still have plenty of time left in this match, and Diogo's looking for a third. He might just get it. No. Lewandowski uncharacteristically misses the target, and that's what we were talking about. You've got to take those opportunities, and that one, it just came up on his weak foot and unfortunately couldn't find the back of the net.
Well, especially in a game against George Washington, you're looking to set up your teammate in the best position possible. Diego's done insanely well to get 2-0 up. Could have been 3. Might be a chance here to make up for that missed chance. It's another good save. It's pushed just wide enough for Carvajal to be out there, and does just about enough. And you've got to say, so far, Diego definitely deserving this 2-0 lead, playing really, really well. Could have even been more so far. Looking to press on again here. There might be a chance. Goes through there, and Rudiger shuts the door. And once again, we see that solid defence from the Real Madrid back line.
Yeah, that Real Madrid back line not looking the greatest so far in this game. Conceding 2 goals, but the Real Madrid attack could look very good in a few seconds. No, well defended once again from Diego. Just, kind of reading when Vanwood is going to want to try and pass the ball and just cutting the passing lane completely, making sure there's no option there. Great bit of play from Dembele. If he can find a pass back to Lewandowski, what a save. What a save from Thibaut Courtois. Beautiful stuff. Yeah,
maybe could have taken a touch there, though, with Lewandowski, but he's whipped in and again, sort of bring up the height factor for Barcelona. Not the tallest players. There is a free kick maybe going to be given, but the advantage is played on. And it's taken absolutely beautifully well there. Lewandowski in the poacher's position just to guide that one into the net. And I tell you what, Diego has played almost the perfect game here. Dare I say it, he has played the perfect game.
Oh, well, it was beautiful, wasn't it? Just a really clean power pass. It's in towards Lewandowski. The defenders couldn't react in time. And first time finish, massive tackle there from, I think it was from Ferland Mendy actually. But either way, 3 goals down George Washington. We didn't expect it to be like this coming into this game. They want to try and get a goal back before the full-time whistle. They might just get one back right now. It's a massive save from Ander ter Stegen. What on earth was that?
I'll tell you what, that pass through, though, was absolutely beautiful. There might be another chance here, though. Yeah, ter Stegen, what a save, though. Absolutely crucial. That's probably the only time. I wouldn't even say Diego set a foot wrong there. I just think that pass from Van Wood was absolutely incredible. Straight through there, split the defence. Dembele, he got the 5-star, I think, and just gets shrugged off the ball. I think it may well be a corner. And I'll tell you what, at the moment, very much deserving of the lead, but that was a crucial save, denying Van Wood there, because at 3-1, you've got to say, you know, Faneka's waiting in the wings for game number 2. You said Van Wood is playing both games tonight, isn't he?
Van Wood is playing both games, and after not having played for a few weeks, definitely going to feel a little bit up against it here, I'd feel, and coming up against 2 of the most informed players in the tournament, in the league at the moment, in the Yukon boys. Well, you've got to say, it is a very scary thing to be up against all by yourself.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and maybe George Washington maybe trying to just see, you know, test everybody out for the playoffs, because everybody's going to want to be involved at the business end of the season. So maybe they're just testing out different players, giving different players on their roster a bit of a break as well, because, you know, there is also the thing of playing a bit too much FIFA at times. So, you know, maybe just wanted to keep a couple of players fresh as well, and giving Van Wood the opportunity to show how good he can be.
Very true indeed. We'll have to see though, because Diego's looking for more, looking to give his teammate almost a guaranteed win, even going into the second leg, trying to make it impossible for George Washington, but they're not going to go down without a fight. Benzema holding up the play, waiting for some support. It's a really heavy touch there. Alaba wins it back though, does well, could cut it back for Benzema, looks to whip it in, not too sure who to, but Christensen, you've got to say, Christensen's one of those players that's never really been that great on FIFA, but he's looking very good here. He's got decent pace, decent defending and physical, but he's never really been one that you look at and kind of go, oh, that's a good defender. But putting on a performance here, definitely. What a tackle from, I think that was from Koundé, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I think actually when there was a pause cued, I think he's actually got a boost as well from his live performance.
84.
So I think he is actually, yeah, like on a +2. There's a chance here though for Ferran Torres. He's got the speed, he hasn't got the finish, but he might get the rebound. And it's 4, and out of absolutely nowhere today. Diego putting on an absolutely incredible performance. 4 goals to 0 now for Yukon. And George Washington is staring down the barrel of only their 2nd defeat of the whole season.
Wow, there's no other word that you can really say for this performance from Diego. Absolutely performing out of his skin here in this game. And Van Wood, you know, you've got to feel a little bit disappointed, haven't you? You've got to feel a little bit disappointed for him playing, you know, coming into the game. It's a tough scenario. You know, you see your teammates playing all season to come back in, and you're trying to do what you can for your team to keep them at the top of the table. I've seen a message from Van Wood in the chat. Really frustrating. Messed up the tactics when hitting ready, and it keeps going back to the default right mid setup rather than its custom. That is frustrating.
Yeah, that can be a thing, and I know that firsthand from playing a lot of FIFA as well, is that sometimes the game does randomly decide just to change the tactics, and it is really frustrating. The one I find is sometimes when you just turn the game off, you come back on the next morning and it's just reverted everything back to default, and it's yeah, you have to go through everything once again, and it can be frustrating. And you know, it's difficult to say. You know, obviously custom tactics do mean a lot. Those custom tactics have made a complete difference. It's hard to say, because I mean, Diego's played fantastically well. Might even get another chance here. Torres has the speed. Has he got the finish this time? No.
It's a pen.
It has been given. The slide came in. It was an unnecessary slide. Surprised it was only really a yellow. Luckily, the shot had already been dragged wide. But yeah, not good chance. Stutter run up 5-0. I'll tell you what, it looks like Yukon are going to close the gap at this rate.
Yeah, Yukon, well, they're definitely getting some goals in their advantage column because they've, a 5-goal advantage is absolutely massive. And going into the second leg, well, what can you say other than it is going to be a massive uphill climb here for Van Wood if he wants to claw anything back for his team here?
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one at all. 5-0. It's difficult though, but you never know because we have seen plenty of goals from first legs to second legs. Diego, completely different player to Faneka. It'll be interesting to see how Faneka comes out and tackles this because 5-0 is a good cushion to have. However, does Faneka come in fully focused, knowing that they have that cushion?
I think you've got to go for it. I think you've got to continue to play like it's a fresh game. You can't go into the game with the mindset of, oh, it's okay, we're winning, I'll sit back a little bit. You've got to go out, try and score some more goals. Will we see that, though? Well, we'll have to see, as we need to go to a very quick break now before we can get into the second leg. So go grab yourselves a drink, make sure to stay hydrated. We'll be back in a few moments' time with the next game.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the final game of the evening. It is George Washington University versus UConn here in week 15 of FIFA 23. Well, it should be a banger, but Van Wood's going to have to come up with the goods here. 5 goals down after the first leg, and we're seeing Faneka pick up his... It's not his comfort pick, it's something that he's wanting to try and use more often because he sees a lot of potential in this Bayern Munich team. And yeah, something that he said to me off screen. He said he wants to try and use Bayern Munich more, try and see if he can fit them into his team set. And, hats off to him, trying to break the meta, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to give it a go, why not? It's one of those games, 5-0 up. You can afford to take a little bit of a risk. You don't want to go crazy, do you? We know that Bayern Munich are a good side to use in game. We saw Georgetown use them well earlier. I think they ended up losing 5-3 in that game, unfortunately. But you know, they've got that pace up front. You got Sane, who you don't really hear too much about Leroy Sane these days. After he moved away from Man City, we hear quite a lot more about Coman, I suppose. And Mane's been out injured a lot in real life. So you know, they're a team that have great potential up front, but. You know, they are actually winning the league, Bundesliga now. They were slightly behind Union Berlin, but I think they actually ended up beating Union Berlin last week or so, about 3 or 4-0. So, yeah, settling down at the top of the table again.
Yeah, definitely. And Choupo-Moting doing the usual bits in the Champions League for them, which I guess is part of his character. He loves a goal in the Champions League.
Yeah, a man that's gone from Stoke to, was it PSG and then to Bayern? It's like... goodness knows how he's done it, but he still scores goals in the Champions League. So he's obviously doing well enough to earn himself a wage each week there, and he's probably got one of the best agents in the world. But yeah, he's still scoring, which is good for a player that's probably a little bit underappreciated. And we might see a chance of Mane rolls into Goretzka. It's blocked. The rebound again comes in and squirm wide. It's just about going to go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen, if we're treating this like it is a best of one scenario, thinking about it 0-0 on paper, I'd have liked to have seen Feneka just be a little bit more patient there in the box with Goretzka. Could have maybe took a ball roll away from the defender, looked to try and make another pass. Very close quarters though, so it would have been difficult. But if we're looking at it from an analytical point of view, and we look at how the pro players do it in the top leagues, just look for that final pass, look for that uncontested shot. We'll have to see if he can get something here. Musiala, 5-star skiller. Ball roll, scoop turn. Looks to try and thread it into the middle. Does get tackled, delayed. Flicks it up behind himself and wins his team a goal kick. Not the greatest showing of skills there from Musiala.
No, it seemed a little bit unnecessary, quite a lot of that, but there you go. Anyway, I suppose you can afford to try new things out if you're winning. You've got a 5-0 banker from the first leg, so you're looking fairly good. Bursting down the wall with Coman again, and we'll be seen out once again for a goal kick. So, yeah, looking to make a bit of progress down the wing, but not really providing any end product so far. 22 minutes in. Absolutely nothing doing. Vanwood might get a chance on the break here, though. He's got a man in the middle if he can find him. Looks to play the ball across. Goalkeeper movement is coming out, and it's really well defended in the end from the Yukon side once again. Feneka does well. There was a good opportunity there, though, for Vanwood, and like I said, has been out for a little while. Hasn't really played too much within the EGF league at the moment. I thought the ball was going to be rolled through to the striker. It was a great opportunity once again, and yeah, chances like that need to be taken, really.
Intercepted once again, though, through some good defending from Feneka. And, you look at this Bayern Munich team, and I feel like it is just Real Madrid, but a little bit worse. Modric with a chance. Oh, what a shot. Rattles the post. Neuer with a big save, or, well, a lack of a save, I guess you could say. But either way, this Bayern Munich team has got pace up front. It's got 5-star skillers. It's got a good defence, a decent amount of pace, but nothing too crazy. Up in Meccano, maybe in a few years, but the right back and left back are absolutely incredible. You got a very good goalkeeper. It's a solid choice.
Yeah, Bayern Munich are a team that are very solid, but I guess it's, Real Madrid are just such kind of the obvious pick, aren't they, really? And every other team kind of gets overlooked most weeks. But yeah, it's good to see other teams being picked, and, players might see success being dealt with a Bayern Munich side, so they might think, next week maybe I'll try out Bayern Munich and see how I like them, because it is very much a Real Madrid dominated league these days.
Yeah, it really is. We do tend to see them every day. I don't think there's been a week where we haven't seen them in. Well, maybe there's been games where we haven't seen them, but I don't think there's been a series where we haven't seen them at least once.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid. I think we've probably seen Real Madrid. If you were to tally it up over the whole course of the season, Real Madrid have easily been the number one choice. Probably not even close, I would imagine. It's they're a team that you can't turn down just because they've got the attack and the defence and the midfield and the goalkeeper that are all solid. We talk about PSG, who have got a pretty dreadful midfield on FIFA, but have that strong defence, good goalkeeper, and that insane attack. But I think Real Madrid are probably the only team that have the full package. But actually, on paper, Bayern Munich are probably a close second, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know about second. It's tough. Out of curiosity, okay, where would you rank your top three then? Your top three seasons?
It's got to be with head-to-head seasons. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to say Real Madrid #1, probably without a shadow of a doubt. I'd probably put Bayern in second position, and then I'd probably say PSG would be my third choice. But with PSG, you just run the risk of that kind of inferior midfield that just get bullied by a lot of other teams. You know, you've got Verratti, Carlos Soler. You know, Renato Sanchez is great on FIFA, but he still doesn't really do enough on his own in midfield to warrant that PSG pick for me.
See, I would have to disagree. I would personally still be putting PSG in second, and then I would probably put a tie between maybe not Man City anymore because they've lost João Cancelo. I do think it's probably Real Madrid, PSG, then Bayern. I would say it's definitely a combination of those three. But either way, we come in at a half-time break. Currently 0-0, been a stark contrast to the first game. Not at all what we expected. We expected maybe a couple more goals coming out from George Washington, but unable to break down Feneca's defence as of yet. Maybe we'll see George Washington go all for it now, just send everything at UConn, because they have an absolute mountain to climb.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose, you know, from 5-0 in the first leg. I guess, you know, for Van Wood, it's almost just getting back into the rhythm with FIFA. You know, like you said, hasn't played in a little while, been away doing whatnot in real life. So, you know, it's good to see Van Wood back in and being involved. And, you know, it's just good to get back in and see. You know, you don't want to just go all out and maybe use tactics that you're never going to use again, but you want to kind of try and use the same team, the same tactics, maybe build up a bit of rhythm, get a feel for the game again, because a lot of video games are like that. You know, if you stop playing them for a while, you kind of lose, whether it's, you know, FPS games, you lose your aim, don't you? You know, you lose the reflexes that you want and the responses and reactions. But yeah, with FIFA, you can kind of lose that rhythm, and, you know, even just little things like, you know, passing and moving triangles or setting players on through balls, and, you know, when to green time it, when to finesse, when to low driven it, etc. You know, you forget all those things if you don't play it for a while.
Yeah, 100%. It is, you know, it's one of those games where you do have to play it over a little bit to kind of obtain or maintain, I guess you could say, your skill level. It's definitely one of those games where you get a little bit of rust if you don't play it for a little while. Either way, Goretzka here bursting down the wing, using his pace very well and using that strength, running into the defender, but unfortunately that dribbling catches up with him and lets the ball just run a little bit too far through. It's one of those moments where the big man starts running through the defence and realises, I've maybe put a little bit too much into this run and just misplays the pass a little bit.
Yeah, it was almost like he went to kick, you know, when they kick it with their planting foot, don't they? And they just knock it, and yeah, it just trickles out. And that was a good run though, because when Goretzka gets going at speed, you know, he's got that strength and that physicality. I remember seeing some pictures of him, some photos where it was like before and after his move to Bayern. It was like he absolutely bulked up. They kind of put him on some sort of training regime to really bolster his physique in midfield, and yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with these days.
Yeah, he is a big boy, that is for sure. That is one thing you've got to say about Bayern Munich midfielders. They always have one midfielder that is an absolute unit, and to be honest, most of their team are units in the midfield and defensive parts of the field. With Meccano being tasked with defending against Benzema, though, looking to cut out his options, and wow, that passage. That is exactly how George Washington's game has been going so far. That pass is pretty much how their entire series has been. You know, just unfortunate, I think, is a big word.
Yeah, I mean, again, though, for Van Wood, you know, it's all about coming back in and getting to grips with playing the game again, because, you know, depending on how often he's been playing, you know, there's a lot of updates that still come out for gameplay. So, you know, there's always something changing, chopping and changing. They've obviously got the like soft patches as well. So, you know, there is a lot of chopping and changing of the gameplay. One week it's back post crosses, one week it's travellas, one time it's, you know, low driven finesses, whatever. So, you know, you've always got to kind of stay up to date with it if you can while you're playing. So, if you're not playing a lot, you fall off the kind of not necessarily the skill level, but, you know, what is the meta and what is the best method of attacking and defending?
Very true, but you've got to say, for somebody that hasn't played in over 2 months, Van Wood, you've got to respect, definitely, for him to come out and, regardless of who he's playing against, to do his absolute best and put on a strong face while doing it, regardless of the frustrations of, you know, tactics in the first game. You know, for anybody to get a phone call saying, can you play, about 2 hours before, after not playing the game for a good 2 months, it's rough. It is brutal.
Yeah, you know, it's not really a game you can necessarily just pick up again and kind of be good at and be at your best straight away. You do need at least some warm-ups or some practice. And again, you know, going back to talking about tactics and that, you know, the meta changes very often. So, you know, one week you might want to have those overlapping wing backs. One weekend you might not want to have them. So it's a difficult one, and you know, you've always got to kind of match up against who you're playing as well. And I don't imagine that Van would, you know, may or may not have been watching every single week. That would probably be offside there with the tackle. You know, might not have been watching every week, and some weeks you might be able to pick out what your opponent's going to do. You know, you can plan a week ahead, and maybe could have looked to watch how UConn play in previous weeks. You can kind of piece together a bit of a game plan against them. Depends how sort of deep you want to dive into it at the same time as well, because you know, some of the players will just turn up, play their games, and that'll be it. And other teams might have somebody watching, you know, scouting the opponents and maybe laying down some coaching sort of tips and tactics that they want to use in the following week against them.
And the thing is, he's coming up against one of the best players in the league in Feneka. You know, one of the top talents. That is going to be a penalty. Unfortunately, stuck the foot in. The ball might have been running out of play, so there might have been a debate there, but there was contact. There is no debate to be had on that. The question is, will Courtois be able to make a miraculous save? Mane steps up to the plate. No, it's top bins. You don't save those. And University of Connecticut, they have their lead. I don't really want to see any celebrations here. I don't think anybody does, to be honest. We're going to see one anyway. But yeah, you know, it's tough, isn't it? Van Wood, when you take such a long time out to hold your own against one of the best players in the league for 78 minutes of the game, taking them to scoreless, you've got to respect it. Lovely rainbow flick coming out from Feneka, can't quite find the finish. But yeah, this has just been a tough game for George Washington, but respect for Van Wood, and you know, you've got to say Diego just performed so well in that first game, really set up UConn to pick up the win. And going into the playoffs now, you've got to say UConn looking very, very scary.
Yeah, UConn looking pretty solid, you know. Again, we've sort of said form doesn't really matter too much in the playoffs, because you've just got to perform on that 1 week. So you've just got to, you know, beat who's in front of you and play your best FIFA. And to be fair, if they play like this again, UConn, over the 2 legs, they've got a really good chance of kind of not pulling off a surprise victory in the playoffs, but you know, they've shown that they can compete. They've shown they can win, and that is a terrible challenge there.
That's got
probably going to be a red. I mean, they can afford it, to be fair, so it's not really going to matter too much to them. But yeah, not a nice tackle there, and yeah.
Referee!
Oh
dear, that's shocking. That is a poor choice of card, in my opinion. Benzema, though, going to step up to the plate. Green time finish, but yeah, you're always going to be tough to trouble the goalkeeper from that far out, especially one as solid as Manuel Neuer. 88 minutes in, yeah, I think both players are just going to... Well, Van Wood's not going to lay down. Van Wood's going to go until the final minute. He doesn't care. He's going to want to try and get a goal back. And he might very well get that. Pass it to Valverde. Benzema just couldn't quite find the space quick enough, and as the clock ticks down, there is going to be one more chance. It's going to be for Feneka. Will there be a goal at the end of it? Kingsley Coman, there will. Even Green Time finishes it to guarantee that it goes in. And UConn going to pick up the win. 7-0 on aggregate. Well, first versus second. Second one tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely made it interesting going into the final round of games as well next week. So in the standings, there'll only be one win between the two, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm just trying to check the schedule for next week. UConn actually don't have a game next week. It's their week off, so unfortunately for them, they won't be able to take the top of the standings. They'd kind of, well, no, they wouldn't even be able to actually if George Washington lost that game anyway next week. So that's only the second loss inflicted on George Washington throughout the whole season. So just goes to show you how difficult they are to beat and how much credit we should give UConn, and especially Diego for that insane performance in leg 1. Feneka following it up with a solid performance as well in game 2.
100%. It has got to be said they played very, very admirably. But George Washington, it's a tough one because when you've got a player that's come off quite a big break from the game, it is always going to be difficult. But if we have a quick look at the schedule, this is how the games rounded out. And as you can see, DePaul got a forfeit victory over William & Mary. William & Mary currently on spring break, I think it is. So hopefully they're enjoying that. But unfortunately going to be picking up a loss this week due to that. St. John's picking up a massive win over Georgetown, which was definitely needed for their season and the run-up to playoffs. And UConn, a surprise victory over first in the table, George Washington University. A massive win for them regardless, but another great week and a lot of big scorelines.
Yeah, plenty of goals as well, especially in that second game, 7-5 overall. So, 12 goals being scored there. Credit again to UConn with the 2 shutouts as well, 5-0, 2-0. So, yeah, really, really good performance from them. Closing it right up at the top of the league, so making it really interesting. Obviously, they've got a week off next week, so they won't get the chance to sit at the top of the table for the end of the season. But no, massive credit to them, and George Washington will be looking to bounce back next week and, prepping for the playoffs now.
They will indeed, and next week actually marks our last week before we go to the wrap-up week, I guess, where any teams that have games left will play their games. So only 2 weeks to go now. Crazy. It has absolutely flown by, but that is all we have time for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed it. Myself and Matt Hayho casting, as always. Any final words from you, Matt, before we wrap things up?
No, I guess bring on next week and then we'll get the finalised table and then we'll see who plays who in the playoffs. So, yeah, down to the final week of the season. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely buzzing. Can't wait to get into it. But hopefully you, ladies and gentlemen, have a lovely rest of your week. And we'll see you same time, same place next week for some more EGF FIFA action. Thanks for watching and good night.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever try.